So we've had marathon meetings between the federal government and Labour. A bipartite meeting, they say, possible compromises. But at the end of the day, the question is, what has come out of those meetings? If you take a look at the dailies, for example, you see talks about the petrol price possibly reaching 195 naira or more. So big questions this morning. How successful has that negotiation been? Well, there you see our guests, Mr. Amechi Ezeoghone, who is the Deputy President of the NLC, joining us this morning to tell us what has been achieved so far. Good morning and thank you for joining us on Sunrise Daily. Well, we just saw that report, an update on the latest meeting between federal government and Labour. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, a lot of Nigerians are thinking, what would happen to the price of petrol? Seeing that you've been meeting with the federal government, has that given a green light to an increase in the price of petrol or not?
Yes, good morning, guys. I think, and that is a reality, the deliberation and engagement so far with the federal government has actually assisted Nigerians in a very visible ways, in the sense that as we speak, the actual both the landing cost and the selling point should have been at 206 as we speak today, according to the GMD 2 days ago, that should they have allowed to continue with the landing cost and what is expected of filling stations to sell, they should be selling at a minimum of 206. And today we are still buying below 170. That is the advantage being secured by this engagement. So for us, engagement has actually secured confidence, and we are still on.
So if landing cost is over 200 naira, but Nigerians still buy petrol at the pump for 160 or more, that means there's clearly still some subsidizing of petrol, right?
Yes. Yes, that is the situation now. Even though federal government insists on deregulation, Labour also insists that deregulation should never be based on import-driven, because whereby you have your product and you are buying your product, it appears very unwise. So for now, they just have to factor a way out to see how they can pay the price rather than pushing this burden to the Nigerian people who did not actually contribute to this inefficiency in the first place.
So help Nigerians understand, because time and again the government has said there is no provision for subsidy in the budget, but clearly there is still subsidy in some sense. So on the one hand, is that not double talk? Because if you say there is no provision for subsidy, yet there is subsidy still going on, how do Nigerians internalize this information really?
I think the government also, they are trying to see how they can convince Nigerians to believe in the subsidy-free regime. Nobody is advocating for subsidy, including Labour, but we are saying that first thing first, and your failure to have done the first thing, coming to remove subsidy at a time whereby since 1999 to date, we have never had a sustained program that will help the refineries work. So removing subsidy now, deregulating the economy now means that there is no end to importation of PMS. So that would be the biggest mistake should Nigerians allow this. So I believe whether they call it subsidy, whether it's assistive measure, whether it's palliative, whatever government may call it, all we do is they should bear the burden and not Nigerians, because where you base your policy on exchange rates that is not in control by federal government, you base your policies and pricing on templates that is governed by international markets. It means that rather than enjoying or rather celebrating increase in crude price, when a nation export crude, the increase in crude should be an advantage to the economy. But in this case, the higher the crude, the higher the price of PMS, because you are selling your crude possibly at 100 naira, and you are buying a finished product at 110. So you are still losing. You return the money you have and you pay more. So until they see this very green light, we will not actually let this pressure less. So for us, it's a compulsory method that refinery must work. in such ways will create job, and not just creating job. You will by that means do away with these several charges that are being occasioned by foreign policies. We can't have a nation and then they depend on somebody's policy to govern the pricing of a product that actually come out of our own resources. So for us, whether it's subsidy, whether it's palliative, federal government must find a way in ensuring that the little wage in the hand of workers is not eroded by this very unrealistic increase.
So simply put, this subsidy, palliative, or whatever it is called, the government will have to pay till our refineries are working.
Certainly, they have to take this responsibility because we believe it's their duty to do so.
The question now will be how long, really? Because, I mean, we've had different dates for these refineries working, but those deadlines have not really been met. So in terms of the talks and the deliberations at that bipartite meeting, when is the feasible time that we can have those refineries working, maybe to some extent at least?
I think that question today has not been answered by federal government, because if you remember during Kachukwu time, in 2017 or so, there was a promise, as a matter of fact, a published policy that by 2018, they would have put the refineries to work and reducing their importation by 40%. And by 2020, 60% would have been saved in that direction. But as we speak, nothing is being refined here. That proved the insincerity on the part of federal government, and that will make Nigeria have that distrust more. So there's no explanation that will convince us that by end of this year, the refinery will work. But whereby Nigerian government is put on their toes to believe that when you actually experience some of this imposition from foreign bodies who want to exploit from Nigerians, and they always give you a condition that upon them borrowing you money, you must never actually create subsidy, because they want you not to also suffer your fund in such a way that Nigerians will be the one to bear the burden, and federal government will supply that same money in servicing debt. So this is not a nation that we must continue to drive in this way. The duration to make refineries work is in the hand of government. And we believe it's only when we refuse them from continuing in this importation-driven pattern that we make them think right, because we can't continue to run the economy this way. Everything cannot be wrong at the same time. And we believe refineries must work as we speak. There is a huge corruption method in the place of work. Where workers are supposed to work, they are not working. And we are not refining. So where are these workers? Originally, we were put in place to make refineries work. As we speak, where are these workers? What are they doing for federal government? And then the burden of wages is still being increased without productivity. Nations are not living this way. So they will put that very timeline by themselves, believing that Nigerians are saying no. This is beyond labor. No Nigeria will tolerate nor be able to bear that burden. Any attempt to increase the price of PMS in that direction will result to increment on all goods in this country. And that will be very, very uncontrollable, because the reaction will be massive.
Well, comrade, Labour has been at this for as long as people can remember. Do we need to go back to former Adams Oshiomhole's time? And it's been a long while. And Nigerians keep wondering, look, why should Nigerians even believe that Labour will perhaps this time make any headway? Because this is almost the same script. Labour raises a concern, government calls or bipartite, sometimes tripartite, and all sorts of meetings. At the end of the day, just a little adjustment of the pump price, and it's business as usual. And today, it's even higher than before, almost 107, almost 200 naira, 170 something naira per liter that people buy today. So, why should Nigerians even believe that this time Labour will come through?
Certainly, we have to believe so. And we should also know that the best practice all over the world is through social dialogue. And you know, Nigerians may not be patient to understand the proceedings that actually take place before certain actions are implemented. And therefore, the same labor that did it then is the same labor that will do it again. But don't forget, they are subject to organs. As a matter of fact, we had our organ meetings a few days ago, last week, and the resolution is to see to it that government don't actually bring this burden to Nigerians. And that is what we just pushed through 2 days ago. And then anybody who sees the reaction and the conclusion of the meeting of Sunday would know that if government does not do the needful, certainly, like I told you, it's beyond labor. Nigerians will not tolerate this, and labor eventually will drive the process. And for us, it's our responsibility. We will continue to provide this leadership as regarding anti-people's policy or anything that will necessarily transfer burden to the masses. It will be collectively resisted. For us, labor is ever ready, and I believe they will do it better this time.
Well, you know, Labour hasn't actually done it. We were buying fuel at double digits, and now it's triple. So, to that extent, can we say Labour has done it? And besides, maybe I'll leave Ayo to talk about the history of that one. But the ministers, I mean, today we understand that the governors will have the final say on this pump price when they have their meeting on Thursday. So what does that mean for Labour if governors say, no, this is our position? What's Labour going to do?
That will sound funny. Chamberlain, you should also know that when we talk about government failing in their responsibility, in the first place, it's supposed to be the absolute responsibility of a government to do what the Constitution is required of it. It's unfortunate that Labour is now a guiding instrument to actually check day-to-day inadequacies of government. Whereas these are constitutional obligations by government to ensure that the welfare of the people are placed on priority. But notwithstanding, Labour will not give up. But I'm telling you, in a very organized economy, government sees this pain before Labour sees them. Government avert anything that will put its own citizens to danger. But now Labour is the one, is as good as we are now the federal government. And the federal government is more or less doing less. As for governors, governors cannot also determine any position that will contradict the welfare of Nigerians. And I know the average governor of Nigeria will speak for the people because 2023 is by the corner. I doubt any governor that will bring that suggestion that we should allow the economy to be driven on importation basis. That template is forbidden. The template is scary and will be collectively resisted because when governors understand the economic policy we're referring to, they will do the research and find out that should you allow importation on PMS coming into Nigeria on the basis of deregulation, it means that indeed this cabal have succeeded. There are people playing on this. Don't forget when they say allow the market force to drive. Who is this market force? Till today, NNPC is still the only one importing. So it's still federal government. So nobody should deceive anybody until they build refineries and allow interested investors to invest in this sector. We will not get out of this. You could just imagine Niger of yesterday, in Niger that we should be giving support, both technical and otherwise, is now refining PMS. It's a shame, and the government must see this as a shame also to see how they can get out of it, just like they announced that they are out of recession. They should be out of this trap of endless shame. It's unfortunate.
Follow up on that governor's ambit there, when the minister says governors will have the final say on this issue. What are your expectations? You're saying that you don't think there is any governor that is going to say something against, you know, the people and all of that. But specifically, what are your own expectations? It would also perhaps sound a little somewhat to anyone else who would be wondering, I thought this was a dialogue between the federal government and Labour. At what point do we bring in the governors? What powers, how much powers or influence do you think governors would have in this matter?
As a matter of fact, the only expectation we place on governors is to collectively advise the federal government to do the needful. The governors are also not out of this country. Don't forget, the burden of Nigerians should be their burden. And as a matter of fact, the engagement we are talking about is a legitimate engagement between organized labor and federal government. So if governors want to intervene or brainstorm to give advice, I think their position will be adversary. I don't see governors making a final say on a matter that is not at their control. And so they can make input and allow federal government to decide. But even federal government cannot also decide against the people. So this matter is a matter of right of the people. It's a matter of the welfare of the people. It's a matter of not allowing Nigerians to go into more burden.
Just a moment. You heard it was the federal government that said that the governors will have a final say on this matter. Perhaps advisory, but then if that advice of the governors is taken by the federal government and it becomes the position of the federal government, then the governors have had a say.
Possibly, if what Labour have told government, they've not heeded to it and they're waiting for governors to say the same thing, then it becomes a plus. But I don't see governors saying different things from what we have observed. As a matter of fact, we also did our own findings and research. We have a position paper in this direction. We have provided alternative method to federal government in ensuring that what we are suggesting to government works. So we did not just make argument of resistance. We went further to provide templates, which the GMD of NNPC promised to look into the proposal made by Labour.
Talking about that template,
they can also...
Yes. I'm wondering what the template was that you presented along the line of the refineries working or not working over the past decades. The conclusion, the position of Labour has always been, let the refineries work. And over the years, we haven't really seen much about that. But each time we have a situation like this, Labour is up in arms against the federal government. Meanwhile, the very core issue of the refineries working, which would stave off this face-off from time to time, has not been dealt with. So what's the position of Labour and the presentation of Labour to government about the refineries working? What was the conclusion on that matter? Because clearly that will solve the problem, wouldn't it?
Yes, that should solve the problem if actually they understand the foundation where we are coming from. Labour has explained totally to federal government that except you do a total reverse of the method on ground, you will continue to have the same problem. You can't base your decision on somebody else's policy. It does not work. And then if you allow this portion of increment to stand, it's a matter of daily. Nigeria will be expecting increment of PMS on daily basis because the exchange rate factors is beyond the country control. And when you talk about using US dollar, for example, to determine the product we consume in Nigeria, and we all know the exchange rate for Naira to dollar, some of those points, economically, we have analyzed that it does not stand. So, because if you just tell government that you want refineries to work, they look at it as if you just want them to build refinery for purposes of visibility. But now that we've been able to identify series, and as a matter of fact, this will be published if authorized by the organ of Labour, so that Nigerians will know the alternative proposal from Labour to federal government that until you put refineries in place, these are the gains you stand to gain. For today, we are still losing them, and until these refineries work, we may not get a much profit as a nation that actually endow with these economic values, and yet we are buying it from outside the country.
So just a moment, I'm wondering, would you support the federal government as they're seeking to privatize a number of properties, the refineries included? Will Labour be objecting to it, or is it something that they will give their full backing?
You know, when something is not in existence, it's difficult to allow privatization. That will be a total shading away from their duty. We will not also allow federal government to run away from its responsibility, because until such atmosphere is created, no private investor would. Take an example from the electricity. You gave somebody, the electricity was sold at 400 billion, and thereafter, after 4 years or so, the government incurred 1.5 trillion on the same product that was not their own. So this is the government you have. So they should rather be responsible and spend the money to get it well done than transferring responsibility to another person and also be funding it. This is a country that year in, year out, you will see expenses rolling out should they privatize refineries. So let Nigeria government put our resources, 2% of what we earn in this country can put refineries to work. It's a matter of determination. It's a matter of giving right advice to the right people. Mr. President certainly need to be told the implication of absence of refineries in Nigeria. And I think the earlier he does this,
all right, comrade,
because it's
we appreciate your perspectives this morning. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts today.